Yeah, I too hate that Aang is a bad father in Legend of Korra. I actually don't think that Aang was a bad dad.
Y'all go ahead and watch her video because that was very informative. I truly do agree with pretty much everything she was saying. These are all points that I've said in the past, but I love how she goes deeper into it than I did. The idea that Aang is a bad dad is crazy to me. A lot of people in the fandom fail to understand that we met Aang when he was 12 years old. Had no real idea about life, responsibilities. Probably like a month before he ended up getting frozen in ice, he was somewhere around the world goofing off, making friends, just doing bullshit. The idea that when we see him again, when he's like, what, 40? So over 3 decades down the line, you expect him to still be the same character is incredibly preposterous. Aang isn't perfect. Aang is human. And again, it's not like Kaya and Bumi don't love their dad. It's also not like they didn't have a good relationship with their father. Yes, they feel like they might have been neglected in favor of Tenzin, and they wished that he was around more. But in the end, they look back on their relationship with their father and their family as a whole, and they smile. Because it was a good family. On the notes that I've said in previous videos when I talked about this, everyone chooses to ignore the fact that he had responsibilities. Not only was Aang a world leader, he was one of the people responsible for maintaining the balance between 3 other countries. And if the air nomads hadn't been wiped out, it would have been 4. Not to mention he was responsible for making sure an entire culture didn't die out. But a whole air nomad who not only grew up in the culture, but was also an airbending master, he has a whole different level of understanding of what's going on. When he gave birth to his children, he only gave birth to 1 other airbender, which means he had to dump centuries worth of knowledge onto this 1 other airbender before he passed. I and Boomy weren't into it. It didn't seem like he was gonna force them to learn about some shit that they didn't really align with in the first place, especially because air is the element of freedom. You should be able to do what you want to do. Of course, he's not going to force the knowledge on them. Tenzin felt the same sense of responsibility and pressure that Aang did, which is why he was willing to take on all that information in the first place. And which is also why he kind of ended up doing the same kind of thing that his father did. Was that later on in life, he kind of became the dude was a little tense, and rightfully so. Because if him and his kids die, that's it. Pressure got let up a little bit, thanks to harmonic convergence and new airbenders pop up. But now it's pretty much all on him, and thankfully Jinora as well. But basically, there's only 2 people in the entire world who can teach this entire new generation, this entire new nation of airbenders, what it means to actually be an airbender. So yeah, Aang wasn't perfect, but the idea of expecting him to stay like the same way and expecting him to be perfect was unrealistic in the first place. Are you still the same 12-year-old you were a couple years back? No. Every day you grow, every day you change. Expecting the character not to do the same is wild.